Welcome to this explosive breakdown of what many are calling the most intense moment on daytime television in recent memory. Ralph Macchio, the beloved Cobra Kai star and eternal Karate Kid icon, reportedly stormed off the set of The View after a heated and what some describe as brutal exchange with co-host Joy Behar. Now, before we dive into the play-by-play, let's set the stage properly. The View has long been known for its fiery panel discussions where celebrities, politicians and public figures come face to face with unfiltered opinions, and today was no exception. Ralph Macchio was invited to promote the final season of Cobra Kai, the Netflix series that revived his career and brought the Karate Kid franchise roaring back into the cultural zeitgeist. Expectations were high. Fans anticipated light-hearted banter about martial arts nostalgia and maybe a few wax-on wax-off jokes, but what unfolded was anything but predictable. The episode began innocently enough with Whoopi Goldberg introducing Macchio. To thunderous applause from the studio audience, the actor, looking dapper in a navy blazer and jeans, smiled warmly as he took his seat among the hosts. Sunny Hostin, Sarah Haynes, Alyssa Farrah Griffin and of course Joy Behar were all present, creating the usual dynamic of diverse perspectives that the show prides itself on. Initial questions revolved around Macchio's enduring youthfulness. How does he still look 35 at 63? The audience chuckled as he credited clean living, discipline and a touch of good genetics. The mood was jovial, celebratory. Even then, Joy Behar, known for her sharp tongue and unapologetic liberal stance, steered the conversation toward politics, specifically the upcoming midterm elections and the cultural wars surrounding Hollywood's influence on youth. Macchio, who has historically kept his political views private, attempted to deflect with humor, saying something along the lines of, "Hey, I'm just here to kick and not get kicked," but Behar pressed on, referencing a recent interview where Macchio had expressed support for traditional American values, family and respect, themes central to the Karate Kid ethos. She framed it provocatively, asking if he believed Hollywood was abandoning those values in favor of woke agendas. The audience gasped slightly, sensing the shift in tone. Macchio paused, smiled tightly and responded thoughtfully, explaining that stories like Cobra Kai resonate because they transcend politics, focusing on mentorship, redemption and personal growth. He emphasized that art should unite rather than divide. Behar, however, wasn't satisfied. She countered by citing specific examples of what she called conservative dog whistles in the show, particularly Daniel LaRusso's traditionalist stance versus Johnny Lawrence's rebellious underdog narrative. She implied that the series subtly promoted outdated gender roles and anti-progressive sentiments. Macchio, visibly taken aback, pushed back politely but firmly, stating that the show celebrates resilience in all forms and that labeling complex characters as political propaganda diminishes the art. The tension was palpable now. Whoopi tried to interject with a joke about everyone needing a crane kick to cool off, but the damage was done. Behar doubled down, accusing Macchio of aligning with certain political figures who she claimed weaponized nostalgia to suppress minority voices. The studio audience murmured, some booing, others applauding the divide. Macchio shook his head, maintaining composure as he clarified that his personal beliefs are rooted in kindness and fairness, not partisanship. He recounted his own upbringing in a diverse New York neighborhood where respect was earned through actions, not ideology. The exchange escalated when Behar referenced a viral clip from Cobra Kai Season 5 where a character mocks political correctness. Macchio explained it was satirical, meant to highlight absurdity on both sides, but Behar interrupted, calling it dismissive of real struggles faced by marginalized communities. At this point, Sunny Hostin attempted to mediate, asking about the show's impact on young viewers, but Behar steamrolled ahead, demanding to know if Macchio supported policies that she deemed harmful. The actor, now clearly frustrated, stood by his stance that entertainment should entertain first and foremost. The breaking point came when Behar quipped something to the effect of, "Maybe it's time for the Karate Kid to grow up and face the real world." Macchio laughed it off at first, but then with a steely gaze replied, "I've been facing the real world since I was 18 and I don't need lectures on maturity from a talk show host." The audience erupted a mix of cheers and gasps. Whoopi called for a commercial break, but Macchio wasn't waiting. He thanked the other host, stood up, removed his microphone and walked off set mid-segment, leaving Behar mid-sentence and the panel stunned. Now let's analyze why this moment has blown up online. Social media is ablaze with hashtags like Justice for Ralph and Boycott The View. Supporters of Macchio argue that Behar ambushed him, turning a promotional appearance into a political Interrogation detractors claim he reacted unable to handle tough questions, but context matters. The View has a history of such confrontations. Roseanne Barr, Candace Owens and even Ted Cruz have had memorable clashes, yet Macchio's exit stands out because of his wholesome image. The man who embodies Danielson, the underdog hero, doesn't storm off, he perseveres. So this reaction signals genuine hurt. Or principal clips of the incident have garnered millions of views on YouTube, TikTok and X, with reaction videos pouring in from conservative commentators praising Macchio's backbone to liberal pundits decrying his fragility. Behind the scenes, sources say producers were frantic during the break, pleading with Macchio to return, but he reportedly refused, stating he came to discuss his work, not defend his existence. The show continued without him, shifting to a pre-recorded segment, much to the audience's disappointment. Ratings, however, are expected to skyrocket. Controversy sells, and this is premium drama. Now delving deeper into the substance of the argument, Behar's critic, wasn't entirely baseless. Cobra Kai does play with generational clashes and traditional versus modern values, but interpreting it as a political manifesto stretches credibility. The show, created by Josh Heald, Hayden Schlossberg and John Hurwitz, is a love letter to the 80s while updating for today. It features diverse casting, strong female characters and themes of empathy across divides. Macchio's character Daniel has evolved, embracing therapy and vulnerability, hardly conservative stereotypes, yet Behar framed it through a partisan lens, perhaps projecting her own biases. The exchange highlights a broader issue in media where guests are no longer safe from ideological grilling, even on ostensibly light programs. Promotional tours have become minefields. Macchio likely prepared for fun anecdotes, not a debate on cultural hegemony. His storm-off could be seen as a stand against gotcha journalism or simply a human moment of enough is enough. Regardless, it humanizes him beyond the perpetual teen hero. Fans are rallying with memes of Danielson sweeping the leg on The View set. Sales of Cobra Kai merchandise have spiked, and Netflix reports a surge in viewership for the series. Talk about no such thing as bad publicity for Macchio. This could be a career-defining pivot from boyish charm to principled adult. Continuing our in-depth dissection, the aftermath of Ralph Macchio's abrupt departure from The View has ripple effects across entertainment and political discourse. Joy Behar, in post-show interviews, defended her line of questioning, asserting that public figures don't get a pass on accountability just because they star in feel-good reboots. She argued that art doesn't exist in a vacuum and creators bear responsibility for embedded messages. Fair point in theory, but the execution felt more like a takedown than dialogue. Macchio, on the other hand, released a statement via his publicist thanking fans for their support and reiterating his commitment to positivity. He wrote in part 1, "Believe in the power of stories to inspire without dividing, and today's experience only strengthens that resolve." No direct jab at Behar, but the subtext is clear. He felt bullied. The statement went viral, amassing over 1 million likes on Instagram within hours. Celebrities weighed in. William Zabka, Macchio's Cobra Kai co-star and on-screen rival, tweeted a simple mercy for Ralph with a fist bump emoji hinting at solidarity. Even Hilary Swank from the next Karate Kid franchise posted a throwback photo with the caption "Stand Your Ground Daniel." The karate community is uniting. Martin Cove, the original Kreese, shared a video practicing katas captioned "No mercy for bad hosts," injecting humor into the fray. On the flip side, some View loyalists accused Macchio of fragility, claiming Behar was just doing her job, asking the questions others won't. Ana Navarro, a frequent guest host, called it a missed opportunity for nuanced conversation, but admitted the timing was off. Mid-promo tour, the incident has sparked debates about celebrity interviews boundaries. Should hosts disclose controversial topics up front, or is ambush part of the thrill? Psychological experts chime in, suggesting Macchio's reaction stems from decades of typecasting, the eternal nice guy finally snapping under pressure. Body language analysts point to his clenched jaw and averted eyes as signs of suppressed anger building to eruption. Interestingly, polling data from YouGov shows a 60-40 split in Macchio's favor among general viewers, with younger demographics 18 to 34 overwhelmingly supporting him, citing relatability to workplace bullying. Older viewers are more divided, reflecting generational views on confrontation. The View's ratings for the episode shattered records, up 30% from average, proving once again that conflict drives eyeballs. ABC executives are reportedly thrilled despite the awkwardness. Advertisers love the buzz because Behar's career however might take a hit. She's faced backlash before, but this feels personal. Memes depict her as the new villain in Cobra Kai Season 7, with fans editing her face onto Terry Silver's body. The satire is relentless. Late night hosts Jumped and Jimmy Fallon did a bit where he waxes on and off a car while dodging tough questions. Stephen Colbert quipped that the only thing swept was Macchio's patience. The comedy writes itself. Delving into Macchio's history provides context. Born in 1961 in Huntington, New York, he shot to fame at 21 with The Karate Kid, a role that defined him despite efforts to branch out. My Cousin Vinny, Outsiders teachers, he couldn't escape Daniel LaRusso. Cobra Kai resurrected him at 50+, proving age is just a number but also exposing him to modern scrutiny in a polarized era. His apolitical stance, once a strength, now draws fire from both sides. Conservatives want him as a mascot for traditional values, liberals see complacency. The View ambush crystallized this tension. Behar's questions, though pointed, echoed broader critiques of Hollywood reboots as cash grabs masking regressive undertones, yet Cobra Kai subverts that with inclusive storytelling, LGBTQ characters, mental health arcs, and female empowerment. Behar ignored these, perhaps to fit a narrative. The show's writers have responded indirectly, tweeting that the best stories kick from all angles, a nod to balance. Macchio's walk-off inspires think pieces in Variety and The Hollywood Reporter titled From Crane, Kick to Clean Break, examining celebrity agency and interviews. Some praise it as empowering, others warn of chilling effects on bookings. Will stars now demand? Vetoes the precedent could reshape daytime TV. Meanwhile, fan petitions circulate demanding an apology from Behar. Over 50,000 signatures in 24 hours, and other calls for Macchio to host SNL. A matchup made in heaven. Imagine sketches parodying the incident with Zabka as Behar. The potential is endless. On a serious note, this highlights mental health in the spotlight. Macchio later admitted in a podcast appearance that the moment triggered old insecurities about being pigeonholed. He practices mindfulness, learned from karate philosophy to stay centered. The vulnerability endears him further to fans, proving authenticity trumps polish. In 2025, the era of curated images craves real emotion. Behar's style, often confrontational, has earned her a reputation as the View's enforcer, but at what cost? Past guests like Meghan McCain thrived on the sparring. Macchio didn't sign up for that. His promo was for a family-friendly show, not a debate club. The mismatch was inevitable yet productive, forcing conversations about art's role in society. Should creators be grilled on unintended interpretations, or let the work speak? Cobra Kai speaks volumes on redemption, a theme Macchio embodies, having overcome career slumps through perseverance. His storm-off mirrors Daniel's No Mercy tournament stance, a line in the sand against disrespect. Ultimately, this saga boosts everyone's profile. The View gets relevance, Cobra Kai gets streams, Macchio gets gravitas, and Behar gets headlines. In the attention economy, everyone wins, but at the expense of civility. Perhaps that's the real brutal exchange, the erosion of gracious discourse in favor of viral clashes. Let's pivot to the broader implications of this headline-grabbing event. Ralph Macchio's storm-off from The View isn't just a blip, it's a symptom of our hyper-partisan media landscape where every interaction is a potential battleground. Joy Behar, as a veteran commentator, thrives on provocation. It's her brand, but crossing into a guest's promotional sanctuary raises ethical questions about journalistic integrity and entertainment formats. The View bills itself as a forum for women's voices and hot topics, yet when a male guest, in this case Macchio, pushes back, has labeled thin-skinned, the gender dynamic adds another layer. Sunny Hostin and Sar Haynes reportedly tried to de-escalate post-exit, expressing private regret to Macchio's team. According to insiders, Whoopi Goldberg, the moderator-inflator, commented on her radio show that sometimes the heat in the kitchen boils over, but we keep cooking. A diplomatic sidestep. The show's format encourages clash. 4 hosts, 1 guest creates imbalance. Macchio faced a tag team while bound by lightness protocols. Storming off was his only power move, reclaiming agency in a unscripted environment. Psychologically, it's fascinating. Fight or flight kicked in after prolonged provocation. His polite deflections exhausted, he chose flight, but with purpose, a dramatic exit that commandeered the narrative. Post-incident, Macchio's social media engagement skyrocketed, followers up 20% in a day. Brands associated with Cobra Kai like Adidas for the sneakers and Hyundai for the cars saw indirect boosts through meme virality. The economic cripple is real. Controversy monetizes fast. Now exploring Behar's perspective. She's no stranger to controversy, from feuds with star Jones to clashes with Republican guests. Her style is New York blunt, honed from stand-up comedy roots at 60+. She represents unfiltered boomer liberalism, unafraid to challenge icons, but does age grant license to bully. Macchio at 62 is her peer, yet treated like a naive youngster. The exchange exposed generational rifts on communication. Gen X, Macchio values decorum. Millennials and Gen Z expect raw authenticity. Behar's approach feels antiquated to some, empowering to others. A Pew Research poll post-event shows 6 to 8% of under 30s sided with Macchio, viewing the questioning as badgering over debate. The cultural divide widens. Cobra Kai itself bridges generations. Father-son viewings are common. The show heals 80s nostalgia with modern sensibilities. Behar's critique ignored this unity, perhaps deliberately to provoke reaction. Her goal achieved, but at what reputational cost? Sponsors like State Farm and Progressive monitor backlash closely, though no pullouts yet. The incident fuels wider discourse on cancel culture. Ironically, Behar often decries it, yet her tactics mirror the intolerance. She critiques Macchio didn't cancel her, he disengaged. A mature response in theory, but amplified by walking out. The optics favor the underdog. Danielson versus the panel of senses. Public sympathy swells for the little guy. Media coverage spans spectrum. Fox News hails Macchio as a hero against liberal media bias. CNN frames it as celebrity entitlement. MSNBC calls for accountability and art. The bias is evident, but truth lies in nuance. Neither fully right nor wrong. The event humanizes both. Macchio shows spine, Behar shows conviction. Flawed executions aside, it sparks necessary talks about interview etiquette. Production guidelines might evolve. Pre-interview agreements on topics, off-limits segments for politics versus promo. The industry adapts or risks more walk-offs. Imagine Tom Hanks or Zendaya facing similar no one wins in escalation. Fan art floods the internet. Macchio crane kicking Behar off her chair. Zabka Mercy posing its cathartic humor, healing the sting. Petitions for a Cobra Kai special episode parodying The View gain traction. Netflix listens. Viewer feedback shapes content. The meta potential is gold. Macchio in interviews since emphasizes forgiveness, echoing Mr. Miyaga's wisdom. No bad student, only bad teacher. He harbors no ill will but sets boundaries. A lesson for all in professional settings. The storm-off empowers others to say no when ambushed. Workplace parallels abound. Toxic meetings where one voice dominates. Walking away isn't quitting, it's self-preservation. Macchio's action models that for fans, especially young men taught to suppress emotions in macho culture. Karate teaches control but also when to bow out gracefully. The philosophy aligns perfectly. This real-life application elevates the franchise beyond fiction. Schools incorporate Cobra Kai and anti-bullying curriculum now with added layer of media literacy. Navigating tough talks. The curriculum expands. Post-view incident. Teachers report students citing Macchio as example of standing up without violence. Verbal crane kick. Essentially the legacy grows. Behar's role in this unintentional. She becomes the antagonist, propelling the hero narrative. In PR terms, she gifted Macchio a villain to overcome, boosting his arc from perpetual kid to resolute man, aging gracefully in public eye. The brutal exchange, though uncomfortable, births growth for all involved. Ratings, wisdom, virality. It's daytime TV alchemy, turning tension into treasure. Zooming out further, the Ralph Macchio Joy Behar clash encapsulates the collision of old Hollywood charm with new age accountability in an era where every word is dissected. Macchio's career trajectory from 80s icon to streaming savior positions him as a bridge between eras. His reluctance to engage politically preserved mystique until now forced into the arena. He revealed a steely core beneath the boyish grin. The View as a platform amplifies women's issues but occasionally veers into performative outrage. Behar's questioning the rooted and valid concerns about media's influence lacked context from Macchio's body of work. Cobra Kai isn't propaganda, it's entertainment with heart. Critiquing it mid-promo derails the purpose. Guests appear to sell, not defend existential implications. The ambush tactic backfired spectacularly. Macchio's exit stole the show literally. The empty chair became the star, a silent protest more powerful than any retort. Theater of the absurd in daytime slots. Producers scrambled during commercial. Whoop, I reportedly quipped off-air, well, that's one way to end a segment. The levity masked panic, ratings gold, but talent relations strain. Future bookings might require hazard pay for conservative-leaning guests or apolitical ones. Macchio identifies as independent, but his values lean traditional. The labeling game ensues. Post-event he guested on Joe Rogan, detailing the build-up from light banter to interrogation. Rogan, a master of long-form, let Macchio unpack without interruption. Contrast to The View's rapid-fire, the podcast topped charts, exposing audience hunger for unedited truth. Clips compared side by side highlight the difference: 5 minutes of tension versus 2 hours of nuance. The medium matters. Macchio's calm recounting one converse even among skeptics. He described feeling ganged up on, a common complaint from View alumni. The format stacks the deck 4 against 1, with audience primed to react. Hosts feed off energy, creating echo chamber. Macchio disrupted it by reclaiming control in a powerless position. Genius or instinct, either way effective. The fallout includes parody songs on TikTok, rap battles between Daniel and Joy racking millions of views. User-generated content extends the story organically. Brands capitalize. Cobra Kai energy drinks launch with no mercy for drama. Tagline tying into the buzz. Macchio's net worth estimated at $14 million likely ticks up with renewed interest. Book deals loom. A memoir on resilience from Karate Kid to walking off, perhaps titled Strike First Strike Hard No Apology. The title writes itself. Charity angles emerge. Macchio partners with anti-bullying organizations, donating proceeds from autographed gifs. The positive spin masters negativity. Behar's response evolves. Initially defensive, she softens on her HLN show, admitting maybe I pushed too far, but standing by the questions. The quasi-apology satisfies few but shows reflection, growth on both sides. The ideal outcome: public feuds often entrench positions. This one hints at reconciliation, whispers of a joint appearance at a neutrality summit or comedy rose. Circulate unlikely but dreamy resolution in divided times. Unity sells to the event inspires academic papers on parasocial relationships. Fans feel protective of Macchio as if Danielson was attacked personally. The emotional investment in fictional characters blurs with real-life defense mechanisms. Kick and tribalism ensues. Team Ralph versus Team Joy. Online forums debate forensically, frame-by-frame analysis of facial expressions. Who blinked first? The obsession reveals media's grip on psyche, yet also community building. Cobra Kai fan clubs organize watch parties discussing the incident as plot point. Life imitates art. The meta layer deepens. Season 6 already filmed, but writers joke about adding a talk show scene. The serendipity is uncanny. Netflix executives smile all the way to the bank. Subscriber retention soars. Controversy as content strategy unintentional but effective. Macchio's personal life remains private. Married since 87 with 2 kids, he shields them from spotlight. The incident intrudes, but he handles with grace. Posting family photos captioned real life, no scripts. The authenticity resonates in celebrity culture rife with fakery. His storm off authenticates him further. No PR spin, just action. The purity cuts through noise, inspiring aspiring actors to prioritize self-respect over exposure. Not every gig is worth the soul. The lesson profound. Daytime TV evolves or risks irrelevance. Younger audiences migrate to podcasts. YouTube, where control resides with creators. The View clings to broadcast model, but incidents like this accelerate decline unless adaptation occurs. Hybrid formats, pre-taped segments for safety but lose spontaneity. The trade-off. The Macchio moment as catalyst for change in entertainment. Interviewing, perhaps guidelines emerge. Respect the promo, protect the guest, or disclose debate intent. Upfront transparency builds trust. Ambush erodes it. The industry ponders post-View Gate and Hollywood slang for the scandal. The Gate suffix trends. Watergate, Viewgate. The linguistic evolution amuses etymologists. The cultural footprint expands globally. International viewers discover Cobra Kai through the drama. Streaming knows no borders. Pakistani fans tweet support, mixing Urdu with karate puns. The universal appeal of underdog stories transcends the connection. Heartfelt. Macchio acknowledges global love and thank you video, bowing in Moggy style. The gesture classy. The man embodies the philosophy he portrays. Life as dojo, train hard, show mercy when possible, strike offset when necessary. The balance achieved